Hello, good afternoon. It's a warm Monday afternoon here in Accra. This is The Pulse. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125, and around the world we are on myjoyonline.com. My name is Carlos Kalori. Coming up this afternoon, NPP Flagbearer aspirant Kennedy Agyapong opens a commanding lead in the flag bearership race with 52.59%, stretching a clear margin over his closest rival, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, in a new nationwide delegate poll. We have details right here on The Pulse. Also, pressure group Arise Ghana said to picket the U.S. Embassy in a bid to pressure U.S. authorities to release Ken Ofori-Atta to face justice here in Ghana. We have details of the protest along with fresh perspectives from his lawyers here on The Pulse. And private transport operators in Accra plan to deploy a joint security task force to address indiscipline among members and help tackle the growing transport challenges in the capital.
For those who are charging above should be a thing of the past, because that is totally cheating. You are not supposed to take 5 cedis from somebody. Instead of 5 cedis, you are taking 10 cedis.
Details as the operators also call on authorities to decongest the city to reduce traffic congestion and ensure smoother operations for their members. And Ghana's third largest hydroelectric facility, the Bui Dam, built to power industries and homes across the nation, now faces an existential threat due to illegal mining activities.
When the Galamsey activities is done, especially the upstream, what happens is that it causes siltation of the river. That decreases the effective volume of the reservoir.
Details as an upcoming JoyNews documentary reveals illegal mining communities springing up along the dam and its reservoirs as Bui Power Authority calls for urgent security raids against illegal miners on the Black Water.
We need to take an urgent action to raid all illegal miners upstream the Bui generating station. Beyond the effect of the Galamseyers on the dam, it goes to affect also the livelihood around the place, the ecology of the area as well.
These and more stories coming up here on The Pulse. The Pulse, as always, is brought to you by Differendril Cough Expectorant, Differendril Breathe Easy, Feel Better, and more. Please stay for details. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here on The Pulse. Well, this afternoon, NPP Flagbearer aspirant Kennedy Agyapong is emerging as the clear front runner in the race to lead the new patriotic party, according to a new nationwide delegate preference study. The study, conducted by independent researcher, chartered accountant, also a lecturer and financial economist, Dr. Evans Adria, reveals that Kennedy Agyapong is on course to secure the party's flag bearer position with 52.59% of delegate support. Well, the findings positions Kennedy Agyapong well ahead of his closest challenger, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who secured 36.24% in that poll. Here are the key highlights of the study I would want to put on your screen, and you see it right there. Kennedy Agyapong secured 52.59% in that particular poll, followed closely by Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who also secured about 36.24% of the polls, followed closely by Brian Agyapong, 8.6% of that poll, and Yao Osei Educhum secured 2.05% according to the poll, and Kobna Agyapong is there with 0.52% of the poll. Now, let's look at the number of delegates that have been sampled in this particular study via phone calls. That's the number you see on your screen. 40,988 delegates were spoken to in this particular poll. Now, data collection period started from October 20, 2025 to January 9, 2026. And that's what we are discussing here this afternoon on The Pulse. Well, joining me in studio is the man who led the study, Dr. Evans Dua. He'll be telling us more about this particular poll that they have done. Welcome to the conversation this afternoon.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a privilege to be here.
Well, it's good we have you in studio to tell us more about this particular poll. Is this the first time you are doing something like this?
No, so this is actually the third wave. So we had the first one in August, which we sampled 20,000. Then we had the second one between September to October, which we did 26,000. And then from October 20th to January 9th, which we did a third one, which we did 40,988.
So you've upped the numbers now?
Yes, we've upped the numbers.
So what kind of question did you ask in telephone conversations, for instance?
Our scripts are quite simple. So we first tell the enumerators to be very, very neutral. So when they call them, most of the people that work with are volunteers. So some are lecturers, MPhil students, PhD candidates that they volunteered, and some who have just graduated from undergrad. And what they do is that they ask the person in 2023 November primaries, who did you vote for? And then in 2026 31st January, who would you vote for? We asked a third one, but which we didn't apply to this, about the next best alternative. But this particular one, we didn't add that data to, because we wanted to just stay focused on what the people are choosing. And then we have those who are still undecided, who they really want to vote for. And then there are people that they were not comfortable telling us who they wanted to vote for. So out of this 40,988, 9,432 were either unavailable or unreachable. So unreachable means that either the number in the database that we had was wrong, so we couldn't get through to that person we sampled. Unavailable, we got the person on the phone, but maybe the person is at church, hospital, somewhere that couldn't engage us as at that moment. So it all boils down to about 31,000 that actively participated in this survey for the last.
Okay, so you place the calls?
So yes, we have
random.
So actually, it's randomized sampling that was done, and we did it proportionally. We call it quota sampling. So what happens is that for us to make it very representative of each constituency, so if a constituency is about 1,400 and another constituency is about maybe let's say 400 delegates, if we are going with a 20% for the polls, the sample, then it means that 1,400 will give us 280 sample size for that constituency. And the one for the 400 will get 80 for that. So what we do is that we make sure that it's proportional, so that will be very representative of what is actually on the ground.
And you did this across the country?
We did 16 regions and then 276 constituencies.
And then you found that Kennedy Agyapong is leading?
So yes, in fact, the first one that we did, we called that one the baseline. Now, the August one, so we premised this research. So this is purely scientific research. If you look at, if you read our report, you would see that we premised this on first two contexts. The first context is the 2023 November elections, seeing what has evolved from that time till now, and then the 2024 general election laws. So when the NPP lost the elections between His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, then there came a turbulence with the delegates, asking themselves, did we choose the right candidate? So they were wondering if he is the one that we have to take to the next polls for 2028, or do they have to change? So they were in that state where they were reflecting, looking at what we call questions of electability, wondering if he's the one that Ghanaians will vote for again. So at that point, they are not too sure about that. Then they move on to the next stage where they are reevaluating, they are assessing. Then there's a bit of consolidation between friends here and there. Then the third one is where they go to engagement translation. So they begin to see the candidates come, they meet them face to face, they start to listen to their messages, and then they begin to now form their final decisions concerning these people. Then they consolidate it once again, and they get to that level where uncertainty is a bit constrained, because you see that a lot of the undecided now will be shrinking at the latter part. So if you look at the three that we did, you see that by now we're having lower undecided people as compared to the earlier ones.
And which kinds of people, I know you place calls, did you target in this particular poll that you did? I'm asking because there are delegates, there are former MPs, there are former DCs and all that.
So the total population that we have for the New Patriotic Party, currently the 2026 one started at 215,000. Out of the 215,000, there are some that are no more with us, may their souls rest in peace, and some that their names in the database were disputable. So what happens is that their names were taken out. It moved to 212, 211. Now they are still working it out to finalize it. So what we did is to avoid all of this, let's go by the verified one, which is a 204,893. That one, as of now, has not changed because they are finalizing even, I think, today, tomorrow, so that they'll print the ballot and everything. So we used the one that was still there because it's the same delegates that voted in 2023 are the same delegates voting with the addition of the former executives and the former, so almost we have other former executives, appointees and staff also joining. So what we did was that we picked the composition of the constituency. So if you pick the constituency, we have the MP, you have the Council of Elders, Council of Patrons, you have the executives, you have the electoral area coordinators, you have the polling station executives. Now, if you pick the Council of Elders, the Council of Patrons, you pick the electoral, all these people on the average about 5.5% of the entire constituency, on the average, if you So about 94.5% are actually the grassroots people, the polling station people. So when we were doing the sampling, we put it inside the system, and then we tell the system to give us about 5.5% from there. So it's actually not manually done. The sampling was not manually done. It's done by a system, and it's totally randomly done, so that there is no human interface, so that maybe somebody knows who is calling. No, we don't know. We just picked it from the airborne, and then we went on.
And you mean this cut across the former office holders as well as ordinary delegates? So
the former office holders for this particular one, no, we did not take them into consideration. We used the 204. So we didn't come into the new people that are adding on around this time. So this does not come in the report. We state emphatically, it's important that we talk about the scope of the research. This research is about the 204,893. So those who voted in 2023 are the very people that we interviewed around this time.
Let's look at the credibility of the data you are putting out. There are those who argue that this is not actually representing the views of the delegates on the ground. How would you support, or defend yourself with regards to those concerns?
So personally, criticism is one of the best things for any researcher. In fact, when your work comes out and people don't talk about it, they don't criticize it, I think you have a problem. People should speak about it. People should criticize it. In fact, people have invested. And don't forget that whenever we're talking about primaries, we're talking about the future of a party, and you're talking about the political careers of certain people. And some people are in survival mode. Whoever wins and whoever loses, a certain camp will rejoice and one would not be happy. So you don't expect that if your research comes out, let me give you a very simple scenario. Assume that there is a man who is with a wife and then goes to do a DNA test and finds out that these kids are not mine. After he's found out, he kept it to himself. Then a lab technician who is very credible comes out and says, oh, do you even know that this man, the children are not his? Then they begin to believe that lab technician because he has the credibility to do it. So what is actually happening is that when such a research comes out, I've subject myself to scrutiny. In fact, all the 5 candidates, I can say members of their camp that have reached out to me, I've sent them the report. When we are done, I think the other time I did with your sister station, their audios I can show to you. We have 20% of the calls that we make, we record them for quality assurance. So we have auditors and supervisors who listen to these audios and check the inputting in the database, because you see, you are feeding on the work of the researchers. So what they put in is what is garbage in, garbage out. So you need to have auditors. And because I'm a chartered accountant, auditing is very important to us. Supervision is very important.
Who is auditing this now?
Come again?
Which auditing, research auditing?
So we have a team of supervisors. In fact, we have some professors, about 8 of them, that are part of the team. We have some senior lecturers who are part of it, and all of them are part of the team. About, let's say, 80% of them are actually not even partisan. They don't belong.
So who commissioned this particular research?
So this research, right from the beginning, when I mentioned it, is a research that was done for myself. So this is what happened. I got an invitation to a faculty level program at Harvard. I had just returned to Ghana. And then there was a program in July of 2025. And then That was at my university. And then there was Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. And that was the first time that he personally heard me speak. We had met once during the 2024 elections when we were campaigning. And then he saw me that time. And then he said he wants me to be a member of his team. There was a senior member for which I have agreed not to mention his name on live television from the camp of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was arranging for me to meet. So I had two people from these two candidates, the 5 candidates that I had to meet at that time. We had lost the 2024.
They all reached out to you?
So, like I mentioned, a senior member from that side, and from Honorable Kennedy, yes, senior members from that side reached out.
Okay.
So I told them that I cannot just make a decision out of it. So that's how come I did the first research. So the first research we did was 8,000, and that was done for myself. So it wasn't commissioned by anybody. That 8,000 was done for myself. Then my senior colleague, who is actually a senior person in terms of his pedigree and even at the academia, said, you know something, let's increase the sample size. The reason why he wanted us to increase the sample size is because of the scale of precision when it comes to the delegates we are dealing with. The delegates have dynamics. You can pick this polling station, and the demography of this polling station will make the results to the next polling station change. And because there are more polling stations, the more polling stations you can touch on, the more precise your research can be. That was his suggestion. So that's when we increased it to 20,000. I did this on my own, with my own resources. In fact, I by God's grace, even this year, I've won 2 grants. So when it comes to research and commissioning of research, so I think just today, we saw that 2 of our grants, they've even credited our account for my university. And this is something that is public. So when it comes to research, all you need to do is to be able to initiate the thing. And then once you initiate it, there are people that can come in and say, oh, I would want to support. Now, for the first research, when we did it, my intention was not to move on to a second. In fact, mine was to have done the first research and make a decision between the 2 candidates. That was the original plan.
Okay, then you went ahead to do the second, now you've done the third.
Now, when I did the first, then I realized that if I move on to make a decision, the candidates had not even met majority of the delegates. So, in fact, the advice came from a senior member from the camp of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and another senior member from the camp of Dr. Extradition, and said, you know something, go on and do a second one so that you can be sure about what this data is saying. So my first research was done with my own resources. The second research was done by my own resources. And the third one is where I had other people come in. Can we support? Can we do this?
So which people supported you?
So that's actually what I'm coming to. So they called me, can we support? Can we do? I said, do you know something? Even before I did this research, some people are thinking they are AB people who might be behind it. If you want to support, I have no problem. 31st January, we'll have a contract. If my margin of error for this research is plus or minus 0.5% at an 95% confidence level, between now to 31st...
That's your error of margin?
Yes, my margin of error and the confidence. So between now to 31st of January, it's not too far. There's nothing to be afraid of. If it comes close, and I'm very confident of what I've seen, I know the data that I'm working on. When it is done, I can now officially take your support for this. If I take your support before, and then it comes up that way, it might look that this or that or whatever. The other support that I think is once in a while you be there, and then there'll be this media house that will call you, for example, and say, oh, this person says that he's arranged for this meeting. Do you? I say, why not? Then I'll speak to him.
But this cost you money.
Yes, it did.
So I'm asking, who supported you financially?
But so let me explain this to you.
Yeah.
I ran the primaries for the New Patriotic Party as a member of parliament.
Okay.
So what do we call it? A parliamentary candidate aspirant. So you know that to engage delegates, even in a constituency, there is a level of cost associated when you are meeting them, getting them water to drink and so on.
I think I know all of that, but for specific to this particular research.
I did it, myself. 100%. My first research, my second research was fully...
But you mentioned some people supported you in which capacity?
Some people called and they wanted to support. And I've given them a time period I'll take that support, which is because I believe in my research, wait till 31st. When the 31st comes and is close to it, I'll come for that support.
So you are sure Kennedy Agyapong is winning this particular contest?
I wouldn't have been sure as at August. I wouldn't have been too sure as at October. But as of January and what I have seen, if any one of these candidates will cross the 50+1, if any would cross, it will be Honorable Kennedy Ohene.
The timing of the release of this particular poll, many are asking that it's deliberate to position Ken in a way. You agree?
So first and foremost, let me show you this. When I did my first research, so in October, I was there when some people called me, Doc, are you coming out with the post? I said, we are working. November, people reached out. Are you coming out? I said, we are working. In fact, in December, there were some sympathizers of Honorable Kennedy Ohene Agyapong who came into my inbox and said, what is happening? Are you not coming out with any research, anything? And I said, oh, quality works takes time. And because it takes time, if I'm done, I'm done. If I'm not done, I'm not done. So we're done on January. In fact, we were supposed to have been done on December 24th. Then we realized that there were some glitches with some of the work that some of the researchers did. So we had to redo those ones to make sure that the quality is at that level. And then we took our time. I don't know if you've seen the report. It's very comprehensive from beginning to end. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We'll keep our eyes there and watch if the outcome will actually reflect the polls.
95% confidence level.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for speaking to us here on the polls. Well, it is 12 days to the new Patriotic Party Flagbearer elections, and the campaign is heating up among the candidates as former Agric Minister and contender Dr. Brian Agyapong has questioned opinion polls that project Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as favorite. On January 31, the 5 of these candidates will go to the polls to seek election to lead the party into the 2028 elections. All 5 are currently touring the country, campaigning on internal party matters and national issues, especially the fallout from the 2024 general elections. Let's start from the camp of Dr. Brian Agyapong, who insists Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has lost popularity among party folks and must not be voted for the role.
We vote, you will usually realize that the presidential candidate receives more votes than the parliamentary candidate. This pattern changed in 2024 when parliamentary candidates performed far better than the presidential candidate.
Over 75% a year as a presidential candidate. We campaign one more.
You are very convincing. Sami Awuku secured over 8,000 votes. Yet, when it came to the presidential election, those same voters did not vote for Dr. Bawumia.
271 and 201. And so we do Bawumia other blocks.
Let's now go to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's camp, where the Member of Parliament for Kwabre East, Akwesi Champon, has described him as a visionary leader and expressed confidence that he will secure a landslide victory in the upcoming NPP presidential primaries. He spoke during the Dr. Bawumia's campaign stop in the Ashanti region, where he says the former vice president's role in Ghana's digital transformation drive clearly set him apart from other contenders.
Let us emphasize Obiya Juma, Media Debia Meka, and you can get me wrong or you can get me right. But the basic and bottom line, I don't want somebody to be can say, ye NPP for enyan tokwa na ye kum. Akonwa na ye atona this year eba. Enti obi obeba bia no ye mfa ni die ma na mum ye obi obetumi aye adwuma no no aye ne ye den waye ne yie. Mamika Dr. Bawumia wasem kakra nkyerem so. Oye obi a oye friend no deep thinker. Obia se otnasia oman ni mu problem a ekono na watranse ape solution into digitalization se woko UK a na adia baako a na o credit rating system na me wo UK 2002 2001 na credit system rating system ewo ho enti asema na opeso ode ba no wa Canada da adana na yesi enyeye. This is a man of vision. The campaign be a oye bia, if you have observed, on bia huasem. He's always focused on what he wants to do the opesa or ye Emma Ghana tumpon. We are no asa focus on Yambo and this in Sweden. Echi.
Well, away from politics, all is set for pressure group Arise Ghana to picket the U.S. Embassy here in Accra, demanding the return of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to face justice in the country. The group announced the planned protest days ago at a press conference, signaling its readiness to intensify pressure on the U.S. government to release the former Finance Minister. Well, joining me in studio is a leading member of Arise Ghana, Selom Dramado. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Pulse.
Thank you very much for having me in here and for the opportunity to be here today.
Well, you know extradition is a legal issue. Why do you want to use picketing to mount pressure on the U.S. government to release the former finance minister?
Picket is also a legal issue. So we are using, or we are towing the legal path to bring pressure to bear on the authorities that are working on the extradition process, so the gentleman can be brought to this country to face accountability. You call it justice. But for us, we are only calling on the American authority to deport, extradite, or repatriate him to Ghana to face accountability. He must account for the 8 years that he occupied that ministry. That ministry is a strategic, it's a critical one to the development of this country, finance and economic planning. So if you occupy that office, you must always have it at the front page of your mind. But a day will come, you must account to the good people of Ghana. And that is what we are asking the American government to do, to bring that gentleman back to Ghana to account to the good people of Ghana.
But the Attorney General's Department or the ministry as well as OSP are already taking certain steps to get him extradited.
Okay, the steps they are taking or the initiative they are taking so far and what we intend to do, they are not mutually exclusive. They are not mutually exclusive. Maybe they are reinforcing each other so that the gentleman will be brought, deported, repatriated, or extradited to Ghana.
Have you written to the U.S. Embassy?
We have duly notified the U.S. Embassy. We have done same to the Ghana Police Service. So they have assured us of sufficient protection tomorrow. Yes.
What time are you starting?
We are commencing at 8 a.m. tomorrow at the U.S. Embassy. So I invite you or your reporters to come there to cover it live, because it's going to be historic that for the first time, a minister of finance, a former minister of finance, fled the country, fled this country.
He went through immigration. So if you're using the word fled, we cannot accept that he went through immigration.
Okay, because for
so he left the country. Maybe we can use that word.
Scholarly, for want of time, we are not going to be engaging in any semantics here. So he ran away from justice, and he's still evading justice by giving us contrived excuses that he's entertaining some sense of apprehension that when he comes to Ghana, he'll be facing he'll be having some hostile reception. No, Ghana is a creature of law. And whatever we intend to do must be done within the precinct of the law. The Constitution of Ghana, Article 19 specifically, talks about fair trial. It's the same way the American that he's sojourning now. Am I right to say that he's sojourning in America now? He's sojourning in America. The America he's sojourning now. As far back as 1791, America had ratified the 6th, 5th, 4th Amendment, which talked about fair trial. It is the same thing that the Ghana government were called him. Arise Ghana is an organization that is non-partisan. I wouldn't say non-political. It is non-partisan. Right. So if Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta comes to Ghana today and we realize that the government is actually violating or contravening his rights, infringing on his right, Arise Ghana will be up in arms against the government, because everything must be done within the precinct of the law and the Constitution. You know, that is why all well-meaning Ghanaians must join Arise Ghana tomorrow. Because if our leaders, the duty bearers, do not account to us, you know the consequences. This democracy will crumble. Because accountability is one of the inherent democratic mechanisms for for consolidating democracy. So if that thing crumbles, if our leaders are not accounting to us, this democracy will be no more. Then it means that indirectly we are inviting those in the khaki to take over. Because for those who
you are doing this in the interest of democracy.
We are doing it in the interest of democracy. We are doing it in the interest of accountability, that people who elected to occupy position, because if the president appoints you, it is your choice, you have an option to refuse or to agree that, okay, I want to serve. That gentleman, while he was in office, there was everything clear that the signs were on the wall that the gentleman was not up to task, that he was involved in some shady deals. The reason some of us even started this campaign way back in sometime in 2022, when we started sounding alarm bells that Ken Ofori-Atta must go. The time has come for Ken Ofori-Atta now to do something that will be in sync with his love for the biblical scriptures. You know one thing I fear for him? The detention is undergoing now, the ICE detention. That place, there are hardened criminals in that detention camp. You know what they do? Sodomy is rife in that detention camp.
How do you know?
Oh, I know. We have to independently check some of these things.
From which source?
From my source. We have relatives abroad.
And they are telling you?
They are telling me the very day he was picked up, I was in a meeting around East Legon, and then somebody said to me, the person just came and said to me that, hey, our former minister, finance minister, going under or will be living under that detention, because that detention camp, sodomy is rife.
So the point is?
So the point is that much as we are calling on him to come, he should say that, okay, we are doing this in his own interest, because the kind of respect and dignity that will be accorded him if he comes to Ghana will be different from whatever American government will give him, especially under Trump.
Some say you are picking and choosing who to actually raise concerns over, because Sedinam issue, the lady who had actually been sentenced, the Maslock issue. You've not made any noise about it. But this time, because it's Ken Ofori-Atta, you are making noise about him. You are not being fair to the gentleman. You are picking and choosing.
We are not engaging in cherry picking. We are not engaging in that. So maybe the question should have been, what is Arise Ghana's stance on Sedinam Tamaklo?
Well, what is your stand on?
We are actually taking steps for that lady to also be brought back, because in her case, she has been convicted. She has been convicted. So therefore, she must be brought back to Ghana. And then it is incumbent on the NDC administration, this very administration, that is being superintended by John Dramani Mahama,
right,
to bring her to this country to actually serve her jail sentence. You understand? Because that will put the NDC, that will give some credibility to the NDC. It will redound to the NDC's credit if they are able to bring that lady to also serve her jail term here in Ghana. But the focus now is Ken Ofori-Atta, because Ken Ofori-Atta had taken decisions that had adverse or deleterious effects on Ghanaians. You know, some people died when he unilaterally, arbitrarily decided to give Ghanaians haircuts. You
have fact to that?
Yes. Some people.
And you are linking the death of those people to the haircuts?
Your own station interviewed individuals who were going through frustration as a result of the implementation of...
But you cannot blame that on Ken Ofori-Atta.
We can blame it on him, because he unilaterally, arbitrarily took that decision, which had affected Ghanaians, which had taken some people to trauma. And we said we shouldn't link it to him. He's actually responsible for the ailments those people are going through today, the frustration those people are going through today, and those who have died. That is why he must come to Ghana to face accountability. Because, the Constitution of Ghana, the preamble of the Constitution of Ghana, with your permission, let me just say this thing to you, so Ken Ofori-Atta and his ilks will know that indeed, when we say accountability, it is something that is enshrined in the Constitution of Ghana. The Constitution says, and I quote, in the name of the Almighty God, we, the people of Ghana, in exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of government which shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity and prosperity, in a spirit of friendship and peace with all peoples of the world, and in solemn declaration of our commitment and affirmation to freedom, justice, probity, and accountability. That is what is enshrined in the that is the preamble of our constitution, and the constitution has also talks about some other provisions that you see accountability clearly.
So all this is about accountability, protecting democracy.
Exactly, because if we fail to hold our leaders accountable, what will happen is that criminal gangs will form political parties because they know that when they come and they deplete our coffers, no consequences.
Okay, so which people are we expecting tomorrow?
We are expecting people from every station of life. Every walk.
I mean, the key leaders of Arise Ghana.
Arise Ghana. So tomorrow you see Comrade Bernard Mona there. I understand. I saw Mr. Franklin Kujo also joining us because I saw something on his Facebook post that they have actually endorsed what we intend to do tomorrow. Right. So tomorrow I'm inviting you and your reporters to be around at the American Embassy to cover and to listen to Ghanaians, how Ghanaians will be wailing and bleating because of the decisions, the injurious decision Ken Ofori-Atta took, which had affected majority of Ghanaians. You know, under Ofori-Atta before, you know, in the position as the finance minister, about 82,000 Ghanaians slid into poverty. World Bank report, you remember?
But that was not linked to
it. Was linked. Who was managing the state?
No, you cannot blame a failure of a country on one man's head. No, Salom.
The gentleman was charged.
He was the finance minister. So, of course, there were some good things he did, but we cannot blame everything on him. We can blame it on the government of the day at the time. So we cannot say because he was the finance minister, every bad thing that happened because he was the finance minister.
Whose decision actually makes it such that if Ghanaians are going to be rich or Ghanaians will be wealthy, it will emanate from that person? Whose decision? When you look at
it's the governance structure, so it's not based on one person.
Wait, well, today we are hailing somebody. Majority of Ghanaians are hailing the finance minister, Ato Forson, that he's able to, he's trying to turn things round. Okay, should the economic indicators now be appearing in the negative? Who should we blame?
You blame the administration.
No, we blame Ato Forson because he's
okay. You will choose to blame, but to be fair to former finance minister, you cannot cite him as the reason why the figure you are quoting so many people slip into poverty. Exactly,
82,000 Ghanaians that were plunged. They were actually plunged into poverty as a result of Ken Ofori-Atta's decision. Because he was the gentleman in the helm. He was the one responsible for economic planning.
Okay.
So you want to tell me that poverty is not a byproduct of economic planning and economic decisions of a country? Because if you are the one managing the kitty and people become rich, is he not going to take credit for it? It's much the same way. If he plunged people into poverty, he must be blamed that he actually took decisions that plunged Ghanaians into abject poverty.
So beyond tomorrow, are you presenting any petitions to anyone at the U.S. Embassy?
At this stage, we don't intend to present any petition. We're just going to be doing a peaceful picket there.
From what time to what time?
For 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yes, we'll be there for 2 weeks because the initial plan was actually to be there Sinidai. You understand? Until Ken Ofori-Atta set his foot there, we will not leave.
Okay.
But the police had some challenge. They had some difficulties, and we had to, compromise on that.
So you'll be doing this for 2 weeks?
2 weeks. If it doesn't,
from what time to what time every day?
So from 8 a.m. to the evening, say 5 or 6, and we leave, and we go back.
Okay.
As and when it becomes necessary for us to pass the night there, we'll do.
Okay, thank you so much, Salom. Dramado is a leading member of Arise Ghana, and he's been telling us about their plans for tomorrow's picket at the U.S. Embassy. While Ghana is getting ready to picket, the U.S. Embassy, former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is expected to appear before a U.S. immigration court tomorrow, January 20, in a hearing that could, determine whether he is granted a temporary stay or faces expedited removal to Ghana. A member of his legal team, Frank Davis, has been outlining what we should expect from the proceedings in an interview with my colleague, Emefa Hadeti.
Said to you before, I'll reiterate that what is happening tomorrow is a purely immigration matter. It's got nothing to do with any extradition process, whether they call it revocation of his visa, whatever, that his visa has expired. Tomorrow is an immigration hearing for an adjustment of his immigration status in America. Simply that, nothing more, nothing less.
Interesting.
And after tomorrow, we will all know the position.
But everybody goes to court hoping to have their day in court. How is he feeling about tomorrow?
Oh, Ken is upbeat. Our counterpart lawyers in America are up to the task. We are awaiting the hearing tomorrow, which will be virtual anyway. So, all is good.
If I understand, it will be virtual. This will mean that he will be on Zoom from the current detention center where he is. The Caroline Detention Center currently, which is just confirming to us.
He is at the Caroline Detention Center. The immigration officials will have to decide whether he would have the Zoom hearing at that facility or wherever they want him to be. I can answer to that. But so far as I know, he's at the center, and the hearing will be virtual. That's via Zoom.
Well, you're still watching The Pulse with me, Carlos Caloni. We have a lot of stories after this particular break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's focus our attention on some Galamsey-related issues because half of Ashanti region may be cut off from the national grid if illegal mining activities at Bui Dam built to power industries and homes across the nation continue. Illegal mining activities along the dam continue to silt the reservoirs, threatening its lifespan. In the documentary, JoyNews Nana Yaojima exposes how the sustainability of the nation's energy security is being choked by environmental destruction. Here is an excerpt from the documentary.
Even before the boat will dock, the noise from the Shamfan engines is heard about 300 meters from the mining area. Upon sighting the boat, which looked different from those plying the route, some of the illegal miners halted operations and most of them took to their heels. Others threw caution to the wind, perpetrating the illegality with impunity. They mine along the banks of the reservoir of the Bui Dam. The area being mined, according to sources, is an extension of the dam in the rainy season. Here, the mining operations mainly involve the digging of small pits about 4 to 5 feet deep and the same size wide. Simple tools like hoes and pickaxes are the main tools deployed for the activity. From the soil dug, they wash for the precious metal. With Shamfan machines, they pump water from the dam to wash the sand for the gold deposit. This wastewater is diverted back into the dam, leading to the siltation and pollution of the dam. Acting Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Bui Power Authority, Samuel Nimakumbwatin, says the menace is causing siltation of the dam's reservoirs.
When the Galamsey activities is done, especially the upstream, what happens is that it causes siltation of the river. And that decreases the effective volume of the reservoir. So if, let's say, we are expecting the reservoir to contain about 100 meter cube of water, because of this Galamsey activity, it will rather reduce it to about 80. And then when it reduces to 80, it means that you have limited amount of water to generate power, and that will affect the power generation.
But the miners insist their activities in the river and its banks cannot harm the dam. One of their leaders, Etu, claims they mine sustainably. Another leader who also gives his name as Abodie is unable to confirm or denying whether their activity pollutes the dam. He says the leadership of the miners often patrol the banks of the river to check against the washing of their tailings into the dam.
One says, Sebio, Yena, ye Galamsey Jumano. Yaswede, Yamsi and Canocre. Yakoho, Mrebia, Obeko, na, Ibiana, a insuno, a new fin. But Ubesanko, na, a liquor for baby. A tom rebi crana, yeno mo, ye a bomb hard war.
According to Abodie, in the rainy season, their mining committee ensures all the dugout sand is sent far from the reach of the dam's overflow point. By this measure, he says the sand is not washed directly into the dam.
He has no season, you know, Tama and Sunubeto. In Sunubeto, I am almost backy, a Yanina, a bat, a cherry. Senebea yensu nya problem because when I made there me nya manabia na ede edidi ti boss sebi mesere meka ye ka say ye fi gu nso no ma gise e bia sisia but intim ka say enokran say enokore.
The generation of hydroelectric power depends on rainfall patterns to sustain the water levels in the dam. With illegal mining silting the dams and erratic rainfall due to climate change, many are pointing to a national emergency in dealing with the situation.
Well, speaking to JoyNews, the public relations officer of the authority, Mauli Fui Kojovia, called for urgent coordinated security operations to raid and flush out all illegal miners operating upstream of the Bui generating station. According to the authority, the continuous illegal mining activities not only threaten the structural integrity of the power plant, but also pose serious risk to the lives of communities living around the Black Vault, while severely affecting the ecology of the area.
The issue of Galamsey around the Bui generating station is a critical one, as it tends to affect the production of power at the Bui site. Currently, you notice that the activity of Galamsey upstream the dam are causing some form of siltation and sedimentation at the reservoir. So that must be checked now. In the past, we've had some collaborations with the Ghana Army, the Navy, and co. Now, NIMOS is the Anti-Galamsey Secretariat, is a new task force, and we are collaborating with them, as well as with the Ghana Army and Navy as well again. But we need to take an urgent action to raid all illegal miners upstream the Bui generating station. Beyond the effect of the Galamseyers on the dam, it goes to affect also the livelihood around the place, the ecology of the area as well. Urgent action must be taken now to eradicate illegal mining around the Bui dam, to safeguard the integrity of the plant, and then two, to protect lives and livelihood of people who depend on the Black Water. You would notice that there are two major hydro dams in this country, the Akosombo Dam, and the second one is the Bui Dam. Now, the Bui Dam is a strategic national asset that has been built to actually improve power generation in this country. Power currently is stable in the country. There's a high demand for power. So if Bui should shut down because of issues of Galamsey, due to sedimentation, due to cavitation of the plants and all that, then it means parts of this country will go off into darkness. So an urgent action must be taken now to safeguard that plant from shutting down.
Well, operatives of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, carried out a series of raids on Saturday to clamp down on illegal mining along the Kumasi-Sunyai Highway. The operation began around 8:20 a.m. at Bronikom near Mankranso in the Ashanti region, where the task force cleared an illegal site located just 30 meters from the highway. Illegal miners fled upon the team's arrival, abandoning an excavator and other equipment, which the task force immobilized by removing its monitor, batteries, and vital components. The team then moved to Kunso in the Ahafua North Southwest District, where preliminary checks revealed miners had again fled, while remaining operators were flushed out, some items destroyed, and another excavator already tampered with was immobilized. While acting on intelligence, the task force proceeded to Agyapong, a suburb of Doyo, Nkwanta, where illegal mining along the Tano River had caused severe pollution. NIMOS destroyed makeshift hideout and burnt a multi-purpose heavy-duty water pumping machine used in the operations. While commenting on the raid, NIMOS Director of Operations said the task force would continue operations in the Bono and Ahafo regions to restore the Tano River to its pristine state. He added that plans are underway to deploy security personnel permanently at strategic locations to ensure continuous surveillance. Well, JoyNews' Erastus Asaredonko joins me on Zoom. He has been following this particular story. Erastus, what more do we know about this particular operation?
Yeah, so we do know that the weekend saw the NIMOS personnel very busy in the Ashanti, Eastern, and parts of the Western region. And they have been paying particular attention to the Brim River and the Ankobra. If you realize, NADMO has been raiding illegal mining camps along the Ankobra in an effort to restore the sanctity of that particular river. And so once they go, they come back and the people regroup and they come back again, especially around the Nzema East area. And so speaking to some of them, the leadership of NIMOS, they are thinking of placing personnel permanently in certain strategic areas to be able to quell that resolve of the illegal miners coming back. So when we take a look at what happened at the weekend, we are seeing over 130 Shamfan machines bent, in fact, in these areas, Western, Eastern, along the Brim, along the Ankobra, and in some parts of the Kumasi-Sunyani road as well.
And so concerns are about sustenance or sustainability of this operation. We hear NIMOS carries out these operations across the country, but once they move to another location, the illegal miners regroup and go back. How sustainable, you've been on the ground and you've been seeing what they've been doing. How sustainable is this on the ground?
Well, so it creates a very difficult position for them, especially when they have to act like a firefighting, engine at one particular point. When you hear they move to this place, they come back, that area has been inundated with illegal miners again. And so I think that reading into their minds, that is the reason why they want to now deploy permanently in some strategic areas to handle that, so that personnel of NIMOS will be stationed in these areas permanently, and they will be able to control the coming back or otherwise of the illegal miners. Mind you, there are still areas that have been untouched, mining in settlements along certain areas of the country that they have not been able to combat, and they are still trying to do so. In many areas of the Eastern region, Osino and others, there are still illegal mining activities strongly within settlements, on highways and all that. And so I have said consistently that we need to also involve the district security councils. It is high time that the government holds these DCs, MMDCs accountable. Let the local security work. For some time in the beginning of the regime of the current IGP, it worked to a certain extent. You could see that the various local police stations were working. And then we gave up again. And now it's not seen as a crime at the local level. When people report to the police stations, you are not getting the swift response. We need to get the local police working in tandem with NIMOS to be able to achieve a permanent solution to this.
And the fear that the permanent officials that will be stationed could be compromised on the ground and we lose the fight again. From where you sit, is that concern real Is it something that can be done about it so that we don't get the officials to the ground and they get compromised and even become part of the syndicate?
Well, it has always been so, and the evidence is on the ground. NIMOS deals with personnel becoming compromised at one point in time, and that is why they keep rotating them around. But for how long? And so that's the more reason why you have to diversify your operations all the time. You have to think of new strategies all the time. You cannot be doing one same thing and expect that the results will be the same, different, in many times. And so they have to involve the local security. The illegal mining must be a crime at the local level for police to deal with. That ordinary citizens could report to police stations and have a swift attention to that one, so that we can have NIMOS augment that force to be able to get some very good results. But I must say that they are pushing very hard. In many parts of the Ankobra River, they are really gaining some results.
So some progress on the ground, you can say?
Yes, some progress on the ground. We need to sustain it. Sustenance is the big deal here. If you are able to sustain it and you're able to deter fresh people from coming back to these areas, and then we can be thinking of reclamation, and then we be thinking about desilting some of the blocked areas for the rivers to flow and get their ecological integrity, as we all want to see them turning blue or green again.
Okay, before we let you go, tell us about the machines that have been seized in this particular operation and the previous ones that have been seized. Do we know where these machines are, the excavators, the pumping machines and all that?
Well, I do know that NIMOS transports some of them, the ones that they salvage. They transport them to various locations across the country for safekeeping. They give some of them to farmers in certain areas for irrigation purposes. If you look at the weekend's raids, they bent 80 champagne machines and 50 other pumping machines and generators and all that. Some of the generators they salvage, they send them to certain locations. Some of them they give it to farmers for irrigation purposes and all that. So we are talking about 130 of that these equipment just this weekend alone, and it tells you the magnitude of the problem.
Well, Russell, thank you so much for the update from the particular NIMOS operation in the parts of the country. Moving on, farmers affected by Newmont Ghana Limited's Ahafo North mining project in the Tano North municipality are accusing the company of unfair and discriminatory compensation practices. They allege that Newmont has violated binding agreements and Ghanaian law and have warned of protest if their concerns are not addressed within 2 weeks. Speaking at a news conference in Tichiri, the farmers demanded that Newmont equalize compensation payments to match what has been paid to other affected communities. Correspondent Emmanuel Edu-Jemfi reports.
Farmers in Tichiri, Efrisipakrum, Susanso and Adroban say their lands and crops were taken for the name of Ahafo North mine under a compensation framework negotiated and signed in 2024, with the understanding that all affected communities within the concession will be treated equally, has been breached. Also, Echang is the spokesperson for the aggrieved farmers.
Based on this collective agreement, compensation was expected to be uniform, fair, and consistent across all communities. However, contrary to this agreement, the amount paid to farmers of Tichiri, Afisipa, Susanso, Adroban was significantly lower than the amount paid to farmers of Yamfo, despite operating under the same concession and the same sign rate negotiation.
The farmers insist this disparity is unjust and unlawful, citing Article 20 of Ghana's Constitution, which requires prompt and fair compensation when property is acquired in the public interest, as well as the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, which mandates compensation for land, crops, and loss of livelihood.
This action is unacceptable, unjust, and a clear violation of agreed compensation framework. We therefore state that Newmont Ghana Limited cannot lawfully or morally pay some farmers more and others less under the same agreement. Such selective implementation amounts of unfair treatment and has caused serious hardship to our farmers.
The Agyapong project is expected to produce more than 300,000 ounces of gold annually in its early years, making it one of Newmont's key investments in Ghana. But the farmers argue that economic gains must not come at the cost of rights and dignity.
Failure by the company to address this legitimate concern will leave us with no alternative but to organize a demonstration by the farmers of Tech, Refisi, Padroban, and Susanso to demand our rights and fair treatment.
They have now petitioned government institutions, regulatory bodies, and international human rights organizations to intervene.
We are also calling the security agencies, the NGOs, and human rights organizations, and all concerned parties to come to our aid for what Newmont is doing over here. Because if anything happens, I think you will come and hold us responsible. So earlier the best that you will come and rescue us from the tedious things which Newmont are passing us through.
JoyNews reached out to Newmont for its response to the allegations raised by the farmers, but the company declined to comment. Emmanuel Edujemfi reports from Churchill in the Ahafo region for JoyNews.
Well, away from that, the Ghana Publishing Company Limited, GPCL, is under renewed scrutiny as debate rages over whether its recent performance reflects the current administration led by Nana Boate or the legacy of former Managing Director David Asante. One of Ghana's oldest state-owned enterprises, GPCL prints and publishes books and stationery for schools, government, and the public. Amid the debate, JoyNews Research has reviewed the company's records, and Caleb Ziblim joins me in studio for more on this independent analysis that you've carried out. I mean, the former MD says the glory should go to him. The current one says it should go to him. You've been looking at the record over the years. What have you actually identified?
Yes, Carlos. So we've gone as far back as we could, and then the earliest we could get was 2011. So we've gone back, I think, about 14 years now of the Ghana Publishing Company's, operations. And the company was actually founded in around 1965, thereabouts. But, we couldn't get all the details, so we had to go back to 2011.
Okay.
And you can see from the graph, from 2011 to, let's say, 2024.
Okay.
The company made profits about 6 times and then lost about 5 times as well. So you can see that the losses and the profits are almost the same.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the highest profit so far, let's ignore the 2025 for now. The highest profit so far was in 2023, where they made a profit of 2.7 million cedis. And then after that 2.7, the second highest was in 2015, where the company made a profit of 2.46 million cedis. And the 2016 figure is interesting because if you look at the audited financial statements from the company, it shows that 2016 there was a loss of 2.8 million cedis. But then if you look at the Auditor General's report, it showed there was actually a profit of about 200,000 Ghana cedis.
In that same year?
In that same year, for the same 2016.
Okay.
So for 2016, it's a bit sketchy. We don't know whether to rely on the Auditor General's report or the Auditor Company's report, because usually they are the same. Sometimes just a CD or two different, but usually...
But this data as we have is from the Ghana Publishing Company?
The Ghana Publishing Company.
Okay.
And we've also managed to get our hands on the 2026 budgets of the company. And the 2026 budgets, if you look down, you see the first 8 months of 2025, the results of the company's operations are there. Those are the actual figures, and it's on my journal line as well.
Okay.
If you look, the company made a profit of 6.6 million cedis. That's for the first 8 months of 2025. And you can see that's the highest over the past 11 years.
Sure.
We've not seen this before. I think if you even add, it might get you the total profits for over the past 14 years or so.
Yeah.
So the first 8 months of 2025 is looking very good for the company, and we've not seen this kind of level of profits before.
And this is where the contention actually is.
Exactly, whether to give the praise to the former administration. And as you can see, the profit actually started somewhere in 2022, the sustained profit. So 2022, 2023, 2024, there were profits. But then prior to that, it was ups and downs, even though there was profit some years.
Okay.
Profit, then you make a loss, profit, loss. But then from 2022, you can see some kind of stability in profit level. But then 2025, that's the jump we've seen so far. And then you might ask yourself why we are seeing this jump.
Okay.
And well, if you look at the data, the revenue has not increased dramatically. So for the first 8 months of the year, the revenue was about 38 million cedis.
Okay, that's for 2025.
2025, the first 8 months. But then the difference we are seeing is the expenditure levels. So the expenditure is in red. And if you look at the graph from 2011 to 2025, the gap between the red and the black bars are almost always close. If it's very close, it means no profits. If the red is higher, it means you made a loss. Okay. So if you look at from 2022 to 2024, the red and black bars are, there's some space, we need there's profits, but it's not too far apart. But if you look at 2025, there's some gap over there, and that gap is usually your profits. So which is why in 2025, we are seeing that there's a significant jump in the profit level of the company, even though the revenue levels are almost subdued a bit. So understanding why expenditure has not gone up dramatically, especially because the new administration has opened a new press center. I think that's about 3 million cedis.
Okay.
A new Land Cruiser for the MD, and some renovations around the building as well. So even though expenditure has happened, it's been subdued, which is why we can see the 6.6 million profit level. And if you go ahead to the assets of the company, and this was in contention because the former MD said there was a 3,000% increase in net assets of the company. And if you look at from 2022 to 2023, there's a massive jump from 60 million to 104 million.
Okay.
But then we went through the books and we saw that this massive jump was because of a revaluation surplus. So in simple terms, revaluation is where your existing buildings, you take it to someone to value it for you. So a house, even though you built a house about 10 years ago, the same value of the house now will be more than it was 10 years ago. Yeah. So this is why it jumped from 16 to 100. I think about 85 million, 85.4 million was because of the revaluation. So we did our analysis and took out the effect of the revaluation.
Okay.
If you take out the effect of the revaluation, you can see that from 2019 to 2024, the assets of the company was rising.
Okay.
But in 2025, there's a massive jump. Exactly. About 15 million cedis jump from 2024 to 2025. And again, we've taken out the effects of the 2023 revaluation. If you still leave it in, you can see from 106 million to 122 million. That's the same as 15 million if you do the math. Okay. So this is the first time, again, we are seeing a very massive jump in just 1 year of operations. So looking at the books of the company, you can see that in 2025, there's been some difference in improvements in the operations of the company. And then it's a fact that from 2022 onwards, there was some sustained profits.
But not as high as we are seeing in 2025.
Exactly, 2025.
Well, Caleb, thank you so much. We'll leave that judgment to the audience to make. But joining me on Zoom now is the former chairman, Parliament Committee on Public Administration and State Interest, Dr. Kobina Donkor. Thank you so much for your time here on The Pulse. First of all, is this back and forth between the former MD and the current MD, what do you make of it as somebody who actually was watching this space, the state enterprises space? What do you have to say about the back and forth with who actually should be credited with the successes the company is chalking?
It's unfortunate we are having this back and forth. A company's activities are a continuum, and one administration takes over from the other. But I am uncomfortable with even the basis of the comparison. For example, I heard the speaker before me saying that the 2025 accounts were up to September, October. It was not a full year. If it's not a full year, it means it's audited. It's a management account. You don't do comparisons on the basis of management accounts. When auditors come in, there are going to be other requirements. For example, in terms of write-offs, in terms of provisions, impairment provisions, other provisions will come in. And therefore, it is even misleading to use management accounts as a basis of comparison. In my previous office, I'd seen a number of management accounts that claim to be making profits, but when audited, they turn into losses. So as a principle, we should not operate on the basis of management accounts. Again, capital revaluation surplus. No one should take credit for revaluation surplus. If you take Ghana Publishing Company, and mind you, it's a company, and therefore the Auditor General has no right to audit companies. It should be auditors appointed by the board. The Auditor General's mandate does not include auditing companies, whether they are state-owned or not.
Okay.
And so we should be looking at improved corporate governance, the underlying factors, operational profit, revenue against expenditure. Has there been underlying increase in revenue? And if there's been underlying increase in revenue...
Doc, I'm afraid we're losing you. You may have to reposition yourself so we hear the key point you're making.
Saying, have they been... Can you hear me now?
I think it's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's okay.
So I was arguing that you look at underlying profit. What is it that accounts for the underlying profit? Is it increase in sales or is just cost control? Those are the key issues we should be looking. The to and fro between the current managing director and the former managing director is unfortunate.
Okay. But on the surface of it, on the face of it, you can say that there's some progress, sharp progress being made from the beginning of 2025 up to now, based on the data as explained by our research team, from where you sit. Is that the case?
Oh, progress could have been made, but is it substantive progress or minimal progress?
Okay.
And then what were the underlying causes of the progress? Has the volume of work increased? If the volume of work has increased, then yes. Or the volume of work has reduced or stayed the same? These are the critical issues for analysis and not just the figures.
All right.
If figures in isolation, you will draw the wrong conclusion.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Kobina Donkor. He's a former chairman, Parliament Committee on Public Administration and State Interest. Well, you're still watching The Pulse with me, Carlos Caloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay with us. Well, welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us here on The Pulse. You know, the rainy season is almost around the corner. And around this time, you need to paint your house and to protect your roofing from leakages and all that. So we're going to discuss how to actually address those concerns. And for those of you who have just built your homes and want to put a final finish to it, you understand why we're having this particular conversation. Joining me in studio is Yao Audu Dompre and Dr. Sumenu. They are from the PR department of Easy Paint. And thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here on The Pulse. Well, let me start from, they say ladies first. Tell us about Easy Paint. And we see some basket in front of you. Yeah. Tell us about that basket and what it's all about.
Okay, thank you very much. The basket is just a normal basket, but then we've used easy waterproof paint to paint inside for everybody to see that that is easy. That is easy paint for you.
That's the paint in?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the paint.
That's the easy paint, waterproof. That is it. And we are going to demonstrate how, if you use the easy waterproof paint in your roofing sheets or concrete roofing, there is not going to be any leakage in your house.
You're sure about that?
Yeah, I'm very sure.
So if I have my roof leaking, I can apply easy paint?
Sure, definitely.
No leakages?
No leakage. You're not going to disgrace yourself. Nobody is going to come to your home. Your girlfriend or your boyfriend is not going to come and see any leakage in your home or any fungus growing on your roofing sheets. You're not going to see that.
Okay. And is that the only color you have?
We have variety. We have variety of colors.
Okay.
You know, normally people use the blue for swimming pools, their tiles, and a lot of things. So blue is definitely the best.
Okay, let me come to you. Demonstrate, show us how you're actually going to use this. I mean, with the paint in a basket. I don't know if you're going to add water, how you want that done. We want that captured while we continue the conversation. So if my cameras can capture exactly what you're doing. I hope there's, that's water, right?
Yeah, that's water.
Okay, so let's see how it works.
Okay, so I'm going to pour the water into the basket. And this is it. No leakage.
Wow.
And it works like
leakage.
magic.
So what thickness do you apply?
This is we use the primer. That's the first coat.
Okay.
Yeah. When you are using it for your roofing, concrete roofing, you can use the first primer. After it dries up, you can use the second one for it. But this is the first primer. That is what we use for the baskets.
Oh, okay. So you can apply many layers.
Yeah, many layers.
Depending on where you use it.
Yeah.
Okay. So leave it. Maybe with time it will leak.
No.
We'll find out
No.
at the end of the conversation.
There are a lot of paints, waterproof paints around, but easy paint is the best. I'm telling you.
That's the question I want to ask Yao Awodo. What makes Easy different from the waterproof paint we have on the market?
There are so many waterproofs out there. There are so many waterproofs out there. But Easy waterproof paint stands tall.
Why?
We are numero uno. That's a secret. I can't tell you. You have so many.
No, but as a consumer, I should know why Easy stands out.
That's our secret because who doesn't know Easy waterproof paint? We are everywhere in the nation. We are everywhere.
Is it that it lasts longer?
It lasts longer. And people do ask us, why is it that ours stands tall? There's a secret. The way we measure it, the way we invest it, is our secret.
Okay.
That is why everywhere you go in the country, everybody talk about Easy waterproof paint. Not just a paint, but it is a primer.
Okay.
It's a solution that when you use it, your problem will be solved.
Okay.
We are guided by this paint. It is good, my brother.
So tell us application in terms of application. Is it only in the roof area? Which areas can she mentioned swimming pools? But
yes, it has to do from the roofing, from the top first. It has to do with the roofing. Because what is happening now, climate change, global warming, there's so much of rains now. Even it's raining in December. Even we are in January, it's still raining. So when it do happens that the rains attacks our roofings, the roofing sheet and the crooked roofing itself.
So if I have holes in my roofing, I don't need to go buy new roofing sheet?
No. Just make sure you climb on top of your roofing and then clean the surfaces well. Let it be clean and then apply our product.
Can I apply myself or I need you to come to do the application?
A painter to climb up there, making sure the surfaces are clean well and then apply the paint. That's all.
So what about waterlogged areas where you have water rising? You see the wall becoming wet.
I was about to mention that.
Okay.
Those of you who have built your homes around those waterlogged areas, you need this paint. Sometimes you get into your room, you see the walls are damaged, rough, surfaces of your walls. The interior. What you need is Easy waterproof.
You can use it exterior, outside.
It's both interior and exterior too as well.
Right. Okay, madam, tell us about colors, Dorcas. I've seen just sea blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
other colors do
you have?
We have gray, we have green, we have pink, we have different colors.
Variety of them.
Yes. When you come to our office and you can even bring the color you want, we will mix it up for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do the formulation here?
We do. Yes, we do everything here for you.
Okay. So if my color is outside your 7 colors, you can actually get me.
Definitely, I will. We will.
We generate colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have professionals in our offices that will help you choose the color you want, or when you bring your color, they will mix it up for you to get.
So this is done in Accra, Ghana.
Yes.
Tropicalized.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's better than the imported brands.
Yes.
Okay.
Easy waterproof paint is the best.
But you're not telling us why it's the best, apart from the fact that it lasts longer. Which other features do you have with this particular waterproof paints that you can tell us about?
Because there are other waterproof paints in the system, but when you use them, within a period of a year, 2, you see molds and fungus still growing on your roofing sheets. But easy waterproof paint, you never see that. This has been done last year, but it still looks neat and nice.
You mean you apply the paint?
Yeah, but it still looks neat and nice.
So how do I get to Easy Paint?
Easy Paint.
Where are you located?
We are located at Abeka Junction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just opposite Peace FM.
Okay.
That's our location. Abeka Junction, opposite Peace FM. That's where we are located.
Okay.
And then we are also available in all the 16 regions. When you go
16 regions?
16 regions. When you go to Bono region, our distributor is called Apollo Hardware. And then, of course, in Cape Coast, it's Emilia Mens. And then, at the same time, in Cape Coast is the...
Maybe somebody watching in Cape Coast would want to know, is there any contact in Cape Coast? How do we reach them? Or how do we reach you?
Yeah, these are our numbers. It's 0243-706-696. 0243-706-696. So we have Emilia Mens in Cape Coast. You have King of the Jungle or King of the Universe in Cape Coast. And then Mesisaki also in Cape Coast. And then Sunyani is Apollo Hardware. And then Kumasi is Reagan, opposite the Agro FM.
Okay.
And then in Kumasi, we have a big branch in Kumasi at Obros, in a Doom center of Kumasi. That's where you get some of our product in.
But here in Accra, apart from Abeka Junction, in Tema, all those other places,
we have so many distributing points if you want to buy our product.
Let's look at price. How expensive or how cheap is it?
I cannot mention the price on air, but...
I know, but relatively, we want to understand.
I can say it's very good, very affordable.
Very affordable.
Very affordable. It's very affordable.
Value for money?
Yeah.
Gamma will say,
oh, okay.
It's very affordable.
You do delivery?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, if I call your line and I say I'm in Tama, you can just bring one bucket.
It will be delivered to you straight, sharp. It will be done.
All right. Any final words you want to say to our viewers in regards to Easy Paint?
I want us to take the number again so that it gets the people very well. It's 0243-707-696. 0243-706-696. Make sure you go to all our branches here in the country, called Ghana, Apollo in Sunyani, in Koko, Reagan, Cape Coast, Emilia Mens, King of Universe, Cape Coast, and Mesisaki, also in Cape Coast. My final words.
Okay. Right, Madam Dorcas?
Hello. So
your final words to our ladies who maybe you visit your boyfriend and the roof is leaking.
Yeah. So what I would tell my friends out there, my girlfriends and boyfriends out there, that even if you are already done with your house and you are living in a rented apartment or your own house, and if you realize there is any leakage, it's never too late. You can still come and purchase Easy waterproof paint and your problem is solved. Thank you very much.
Now, before I take a leave of you, those of you having a new building, construction site, it's good to start using our Easy Paint to apply them before you do the painting.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Those who are, you know...
From yet to actually paint the structure.
Making sure.
I should use this as the base.
As a primer source. And then before you apply any paint of your choice.
Okay.
I wouldn't say come and buy ours, but we have, apart from this, we have other paints also as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Yao Awudu, Don Pray, as well as Dorcas Menu from Easy Paint for talking to us here on The Pulse. Well, that's all time will allow us here on The Pulse. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Kaloli. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.